right, it's time to drop some more diamonds. And this time we're dropping it with outfielder, my fellow Audi, Kylie Shaw. Hey, girl. How are
Hi,
you?
good. How about you?
We're sitting in front of your gorgeous locker. Yeah, this is everybody in Able here at Auburn.
Yeah, they treat us well.
Well, it's the start of the 2026 season. It's right around the corner. When you guys came back from fall and Christmas break and had that very first meeting to start the season, what was the energy and how were you feeling?
I think everyone's just so excited to be back. And I think it's exciting when we have a group of girls with that energy and that mentality. And I think with our coaching staff and like all they pour into us and like being able to take that break off, but really realize like what we want for this year, it's like super exciting. And I think just being able to show up and practice every day and for it to finally be here, it's awesome.
What did you learn from the fall that you really wanted to work on to make better and prepared for spring?
Yeah, I would say Coach Kate really like emphasizes on failing aggressively. And I think that's something like I was almost like expecting to be perfect every play. And it's like, that's not going to happen. And so I think just embracing the failure and, like it only makes us better. So I think like being able to go out and fail aggressively and go 110% and who cares if you mess up, like it's going to pay off in the end. So yeah.
When you think about failing aggressively, what's something that you are actively trying to fail aggressively at right now?
I would say in the outfield, and especially you probably know this, like if there's a ball and there's like, okay, maybe I'm not going to 100% catch it. Why not? Like what's the worst case scenario, Like you have backup, you have all those things. So I think just going all out for every single ball and every single play is something I'm truly going to emphasize for this season and just try and, make every play possible. And if not, it happens.
What is your favorite play to make in the outfield? Is it the dive and catch, the robbing a home run? Is it the one on the line, like they slide into the fence, it's super dramatic? Or is it a great assist, throw somebody out of home plate?
Okay, this is hard because I feel like they're all great, but I would say the dive and catch. I think it's just like the momentum shift, and I think it's especially the ones that like people just expect to be in the gap and you come out of nowhere and you're like, dang, like, it's a momentum shift for your team, and I think being able to make those plays are just awesome, but all of those are great, so yeah.
Want to take all the boxes
Yes.
at least one time, but maybe a little bit more of the diving.
Yeah.
Do you like to dive more side to side, front?
I like side to side, but Coach Kate does tell me, she's like, Kylie, I think sometimes you need to go a little bit more straight out because sometimes I'll go like super high up and I smack the ground and I have like whiplash after and I'm like, hey, I caught it though.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
that is like the one thing when you come down from making the dive and catch. You might not feel it in that moment because of our adrenaline. Tomorrow though, I'll let y'all know. I'll let you know how it feels. What would you say is probably the number one thing that you want to work on in order to become the best outfielder you could be?
Yeah, I think just being like consistently like all around in all aspects. Like I think I'm just continuing to, get behind balls and have more momentum behind my throws and just doing like the little things that make like the players great. And I think just like even being out there, I think being a voice on the field for all the girls around, I think it's awesome to have someone on the field who can lead and who can like talk the next play and just continuing to sharpen all those tools. And just it's the little things I think that come down to, being the best. So I think just continuing to sharpen all those pieces.
Being able to sharpen all those pieces, you chose Auburn to do so. Transferring from the University of Florida, what made you say Auburn is the home for me?
Yeah, I think the coaching staff, like they just check all the boxes. The Malvos are just great people. And I think that's what I really needed is people who are going to just fully, buy into me. And, not every day's perfect, but being able to show up and like be like, hey, I'm struggling with this, but then finding ways to, help me, grow in my swing or grow in the outfield and do whatever I think was super awesome. And then it takes softball out of it. Like it's a great campus and a great facility and all the things they have to offer, I think is just something that like really checks all the boxes.
What stands out to you the most about Kate and Chris?
I think just their effort to, work with us. Like for me is like, I'm someone who needs to hit an hour before practice and an hour after practice and put in all those work like that, all those hours in the time. And I think especially Chris, like all he's done with me in the fall and like even the spring, it's just crazy to see the growth in my swing and just like my approach in the box. And I give him all the credit for just being able to buy into me and spend the extra hours outside of practice to do that. And so for me, like that's something I just truly value in them.
How would you describe, talking a little bit to Destiny about this, but how would you describe Chris's hitting philosophy?
It's awesome, and it's one of a kind. Like, I've never met someone with the type of, like, hitting knowledge he has, and, like, I won't say too much because he's very secretive on his, like, hitting philosophy, but it is awesome, and, like, before coming here, I was practically just a slapper and only slapped, and now I probably am, like, 50-50, and I love hitting. Like, I'm like, "I wanna hit more," and I think just, like, that I give him all the credit for, buying into me and, believing in me and allowing me to do those things, and it's just awesome, the knowledge he has.
Becoming a triple threat, what would you say is the biggest adjustment you've had to make in order to get there?
I think just like, being patient, reading the defense. I think being a slapper only, it was harder to, like you would have to lay down the perfect slap or the perfect butt because defenses like had to play you like as a slapper. And I think now I'm noticing it in scrimmages. I have so many more opportunities open. And so I think just like trusting in my gut and what feels good in the moment. And I think like there's days where like my swing might not feel great, but I have other tools to go to. And I think that's just something that's awesome. And so just being able to trust in that. And, at the end of the day, if one thing's not working, there's still so many other things you can use. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing more, and as an outfielder, I don't know if you feel the same, but I've always felt there's nothing more nerve-wracking than in a close game, a slapper
Yes.
that can hit it in the outfield, can lay down the bunt, or can just chop it or whatever. If you're a big hitter, you're either going to hit it past us and the game's over or not.
Yeah.
A slapper, there's so many options, and that's like, we don't know what to do.
Exactly.
When you think about all the tools that you now have in your toolkit, what did you really work on the most in order to get to that place?
I think the swing is something I've just constantly been working on and just like,
What'd you focus on with that swing, like to get it to where you want to be?
yeah, I would say timing and just like going back to like the basics. I think it's easy to overthink the swing. And at the end of the day, like Chris says, it's really not that difficult if there's one thing you can focus on. And so like for me, it's staying in my back leg and focusing on hitting the ball inside out. And that's one big thing we really work on. And I think as a slapper already, like you're not really taught to pull the ball. So I think being able to translate that into my swing as well has helped me be able to hit a lot of different pitches in a lot of different locations.
Love that. Excited to see.
Yes, I'm excited.
Kai's gonna be deadly. If you're talking about your goals for 2026, what would they be now?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of goals. I want to, be an All-American. I want our team to win SEC, make it to the World Series. I think there's just so many goals and expectations, but at the end of the day, and I think this is something I learned this fall, is like to go play and have fun, and whatever's meant to happen is going to happen. And so like I'm going to have goals, and even in my locker it says you will be an All-American, and those things, like those are things I want to be reminded of, but it's like I don't want to hold those over me and put any added pressure on me. Like at the end of the day, I want to go back to when I was 10 years old having fun playing softball, because that's when I play my best softball. And I think truly like everything's already written and everything's planned the way it's supposed to go. So I know that if I continue to put in the work and all those extra time and stuff spent, I think all those things will come accomplished in the timely manner they need to.
What are you and the rest of Auburn Tigers doing at practice that are going to push you guys to that next level to hopefully go to the World Series?
And I think this is like Kate, she like really emphasizes like just going out and being a competitor. Like, I think practice is where you get a lot of the work done. And I think showing up every day, like we have class and we have weights at 6 a.m. and all those things, like it's hard some days. And I think it's the teams that show up even when it's hard. And like we know, we're going to get into series and it's going to be tough. But if we can show up in practice and compete and be competitors and push each other, I think that's just something that's gonna stand out to us. And I think like being like me and my other outfielders, like we're always pushing each other and we're always competing. And you may look at us and be like, dang, like do they not like, but no, it's like a healthy competition to like, push each other to be the best possible versions of ourselves.
What does that look like? When you say you guys push each other?
We have these like tea drills and these like 3 people scrimmages, and like the loser has to clean up or do whatever. And so in those scrimmages and stuff, in those tea drills, like we're chirping each other, or we're like, I bet you can, like if there's a ball that you can probably catch but you choose to stay on your feet, like it's little things, I think. And it's like, okay, dang, like my teammate thinks I can catch that, like I'm gonna go catch that. Or like, it's us constantly pushing each other to make the next best play.
Who would you say pushes you the most on the team?
I would say probably Michaela. Michaela Walker. She transferred from LSU. I think she's just a dog. Like, she has it in her. She's a great leader. And I think in the outfield, like, we're constantly trying to make the best plays and, see who can catch this ball or see who can rob that home run. And so I think just constantly being like, oh, I did that. And then she's like, oh, well, I just did it. Like, that's something that's awesome. And we genuinely love showing up to practice and doing.
What would you say when we talk about pushing each other, but then also building each other up?
Yeah.
Talk to Destiny about your Tiger Walk talks.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys do that really continuously helps build the culture of this team?
I would say there's a lot. Like, Tiger walks are awesome. We do also like just short like stretches like before practice, and there'll be like a question of the day or be like, what was the best part of the day? And we're constantly just like checking in on each other and seeing like what everyone's going through, because it's easy to like get caught up in, oh, softball, softball, softball. But like, I think being able to, like, the other day we went bowling together and did an escape room. So being able to do things outside of softball is something that, like, I think we value a lot. And then we also did this thing for Mindset Monday. And it was like, so Mindset Mondays where we all get together and then the coaches share like something, whether it's like motivational or whatever that may be. And so we get to like answer and talk about that and learn a lot about each other. And then we also do a team Bible study, which is awesome because we get to learn a lot about like what people are going through or like everyone's faith or whatever it may be. And so I think that's something that helps bring everyone closer.
What do you think the value is in that, having that team camaraderie in order to go into a tough season?
I would say just like there's going to be tough situations. And I think it's like those moments when we spend together, like it allows us to know that we have each other's back, like, and I think the game is so much bigger than softball. So when we can, find each other and lean on each other when things get tough, it's going to ultimately like just help us us through those hard like situations.
Spring the hard situations, Auburn softball 2026. You describe the team in one word right now, what would it be?
I would say gritty.
That is a common word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I would use.
What makes you guys so gritty?
I think just like I said, like being able to, like you can tell from the fall, like being able to fail aggressively and show up. Like there are days where it's feels like 20 degrees out and like we're still showing up scrimmaging for 3 hours and, doing the little things right. And I think like in the end, that's going to pay off. Like everyone has that grit in them and that dog in them to want to be great and want to go, win a national championship or become an All-American or whatever that goal may be.
You guys have you have 13 newcomers this year on Auburn. There's only 2 starters that are returning.
Yeah.
Fighting for a spot and fighting to really make a stamp on this program. How do you think is the best way to go about that? How are you doing that?
Yeah, I would say just, showing up like every day and being the best possible version of myself. At the end of the day, like I think if, I show up and my teammates show up and if I'm being the best possible version of myself, like that's going to pay off. And, at the end of the day, like my goal is to be the best teammate and the best athlete I can be. And so like knowing that I'm doing the work and putting in the work that needs for that, I think just, not only helps me, but helps those around me and helps them, even push them harder. And so I think just, showing up and giving 110% every day and failing aggressively and being a competitor is something that, I think values me, but also values the whole team.
I love that you talked about failing aggressively because I oftentimes ask people what is their favorite failure that has ultimately led them to like one of their favorite or best successes. What would you say is your favorite failure?
I would say this is like very broad probably, but I would say just like there was times in travel ball days, and I think this is part of the reason like I've matured so much and, I've grown at the plate and all those things is like there would be games where I was like 0 for 3 and I would completely like break down and be like, wow, I suck. I shouldn't be here. And then I've noticed like that just goes into the next game. And so then when I was able to realize that like going 0 for 3 isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like Coach Chris tells me, he's like, you just barreled 3 balls to the wall and you're 0 for 3, but you barreled them. And I'm like, you're right. So like being able to take those failures and like allow it to be like, wow, that was successful. And so I think when I was able to start realizing that like, oh, maybe I went 0 for 3 or maybe I struck out, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad softball player. Like I think when you can let the failure, push you and drive you to be better instead of letting it take a toll on you like mentally and bring you down a rabbit hole, I think is when I like got better as a softball player mentally.
What do you think we can expect from Auburn softball in 2026?
Yeah, I think you can just expect a gritty team. Like, there's probably going to be ups and downs in, everybody's season, but we're playing the SEC, which is one of the best conferences. And I think just knowing all the hard work we're putting in behind doors, like, it's going to pay off. And I think just being able to see everyone come together and compete and make a run is going to be super fun and something you can look forward to.
Auburn softball 2026 is
gritty and awesome.